Good evening, Flosstube. It's your girl Lori, also known as Sharky Stitcher on this channel and on Instagram. We talk about cross-stitching on this channel. That's pretty much it. So welcome in, guys. Happy to have you. This shirt is really bright. Like, it just looks really bright. I like it, but I'm like, wow, very neon. So yeah, it's been about a month since I talked to you guys last, which is kind of the schedule I'm on right now. So I do have a fair bit to share with you, stitchy-wise, so that's nice. So I got some whips, I got some haul, I've got some very exciting starts. Oh, if you haven't noticed this back here, you might want to check and see if you have eyeballs, because oh my god. But yeah, we'll save that when I talk about the whips. But let's see here. Gonna talk about some haul. We've got Chatelaine sale season approaching. It's the end of October now. Chatelaine sale is almost always, I say almost because, you know, it could change, but definitely this year, November 1st and November 15th at the European cross stitch site. The kits for the Chatelaine Designs are 10% off, so now's the time to get them because they ain't cheap, but they're so worth it. So, but I'll get into that more. And then I also got a couple whips to show you guys, so that's exciting. And then we'll probably do a little bit of life update stuff at the end, the very end. You know, not too much going on there. Well, actually, kind of, yeah, a lot going on there. But I don't know if you guys want to hear it all, so we'll see. But let's go into haul first. Okay, so I made a 1, 2, 3 stitch order, and mainly it's because of this stuff. So this is the Super Suede by Rainbow Gallery, and I needed this for the Lavender and Lace design, I think, or is it Butternut Road? One of those two companies. The Spirit Dancer and the Earth Dancer, like Native American type designs. They use this as like kind of a fringe. Very cool. And I need 3 skeins of this. I have 2 and they don't match. So I'm like, I need to buy 3 that are from the same lot. And I would put this stuff in my cart at 1, 2, 3 stitch with the intention of, oh yeah, I'll get that with my next order. Every time I go to do my next order, it's out of stock. So finally it came to a point where I was like, I need to get a hold of this stuff because I kind of want to start that design. I've been rounding up the beads for her. She's got a couple cool beads on her. And I'm like, I need to get a hold of this stuff because I don't want it to go out of stock, because this is something I think would be hard to replace, perhaps. And then I also was looking for the, I think Earth Dancer is the one in the browns with the big dream weaver. And then I think Spirit Dancer is the one in the whites with, like, she's got a bird. It looks more jungle-y, kind of, almost. And so I ordered this. They didn't have the right color for the brown, but I thought, oh, this looks close. No, it doesn't. It's skin colored. Maybe it'll work. I don't know. I'm going to play with it. I only needed 2. Oh, and I needed that blue one, too, so nab that one. So this stuff is the main reason I made a 1, 2, 3 stitch order, because it was finally in stock, and I'm like, I need to get my hands on it because I'm going to need it. And then there's a few other little things I got too, like this piece of number 8 braid from Krennic came in back in stock. I need a number 4 as well, but I'll get that when I get that. This is for that one Lavender and Lace design, Song of Christmas, I think. It's Christmas tree with Santa, a couple angels and stuff. It has lots of fun textury stuff going on in it, such as this number 8 braid. So I nabbed that. I also got a couple Mill Hill kits because I had those in there, and these ones too. Like, I think I had them in my cart last year and they went out of stock, so I deleted them from my cart, and I was like, get them now before they sell out because 'tis the season. So these are all Halloween designs, basically. So I got this one, cool witchy stuff. This one, a cool witch. And this one, a witch's house. Love this. Love the colors in this. I have one of these. I think it's the hotel, maybe. And then I have this laboratory. And I had intended on buying a couple of these and, like, stitching them together. But looking at these two, I don't want to stitch these on the same color fabric. So I've decided to throw that out the window. I'm still going to stitch them on a fabric and not the whatever, this vinyl-y stuff with holes in it. Whatever that stuff is, I don't want to stitch it on that. I'm not sure if this one, probably a neutral is fine. I actually don't really have very many small pieces of neutral that are opalescent. I want opalescent, so for that one, I'm not sure. But this one, I was kind of thinking, hang on. I don't know if this is big enough, but I'm like, this little square thing is big enough, so why isn't this? But I thought maybe I can do this on Galaxy. Now the thing is, this is mostly solid stitching, so you're not going to see too much of the Galaxy, so I don't know if I want to waste a pretty fabric, even though this piece, you know, it doesn't have a whole lot going on for it, so that might be a good piece for it. I also thought that color would work for this one, and it would work for these one, because they're all like got a navy blue kind of situation going on. And I thought it might even be nice if I, hold on. Maybe did something like a these. Maybe, I don't know. And then I could stitch it onto these. But then I don't have much room for framing, so I don't know. But I wouldn't have much room for framing on that either. So even though with that, I think you just flat frame it. You don't need to like lace it. Just probably the good thing about it, I guess. But I don't know, it just seems kind of weird to me. I'm like, how do I guess you'd stitch in hand. I don't like stitching in hand. I don't like getting my stuff dirty. I like things to hold my things for me. So I got those because they've been on the list and they were in stock finally. And then I've been trying to knock out a couple Mirabilia designs that are on my wish list, and I'm like, get them before they go, you know, out of print. And you're like, oh, why didn't I get that? So I've always liked this fairy. This is the December Blue Topaz fairy. I think she's very pretty, and I love the color of her dress and the flow, and she's got lots of beads. So I was like, okay, let's do her. So I added her to the cart. And then I think, what was I don't know what I was even browsing, but I came across this, and I have a lot of designs like this, but I can't help myself. I'm a sucker for a witch and her house and her laundry. And I got the threads too, which I'm not much for classic colorworks, weeks dye work, cottony stuff, especially when I was a little disappointed when I got this white, which there's a lot of white for the house. What is the point of this? Because there's no change in the colors. I may as well use DMC, and DMC is way cheaper. I think this stuff's like $2 or something. Like, I get it with like this green because like the color changes in it. But like, what's the point with some of the other ones? I'm like, why didn't I just buy DMC? I do like the color changiness. And don't be like, Lori, why aren't you saying the V word? That's a word I struggle with saying properly. So I try to avoid saying variegated. Because my mouth doesn't like that word. It spits it out funny. I probably said it funny then. Don't laugh at me. But color changey is kind of what I go to anyways. All right. And then this other design. I basically bought this because I've been seeing it a lot lately. And I'm like, I really like that. And I don't understand why. It's not my usual stuff. I like the colors in it. And I was like, buy it before you forget what the design is, and then you don't know how to find it again and just put it in your stash. So here it is. This is in the library. In the library, yeah. It's pretty. It's cool. Not my usual thing, but I like the colors, especially the Tiffany lamp. I think that's cool. And I don't know, it's just kind of got like a traveler vibe to it, and that's kind of what my living room is like. I got my Taj Mahal hanging out there. I got some papyrus pieces that I bought in Egypt hanging out there. I got like stuff that I bought on my travels out there. So I'm like, this looks like someone who likes to, like, it would belong in the library of someone who likes to travel. I don't know, like, I dug it, so I got it. I did not buy the threads for it because same situation with those. I'm looking at them and I'm like, I'll just use DMC because these don't even change color too much, it looks like. I wish I'd have done that with the other one, but because I'm not too familiar with Weeks Dye Works and Classic Colorworks threads, I thought I'll get some, and I'm not impressed. I'm sorry if you love I'm a silk snob. When it's just cotton, I may as well just get DMC. Like, I will pay high prices for things for my hobby. This is my therapy. I indulge. But when it comes to cotton, I'm like, no, you better be really cool looking. You know, if you are just cotton, I'll pay a little more for silk. I know it's stupid, even if it's a solid colored silk. Like, NPI silk, it's solid colored, but it's yummy. It feels so nice in your hands when you stitch with it. So I'm like, oh, it's like hand therapy for me. Cotton, it's just cotton, you know? So I don't know. Little micro rant there. Don't mean to offend anybody. If you love it, great. Happy you love it. But that's just something that I'm just like, about. So I understand if you're, and oh my God, how can you spend so much for silk? I understand. We get each other, you know. Okay, oh, this I got off eBay. And this was a design that I have always liked. And it was one of those, I went on a stitching hiatus for like 10 years or so. And I wanted this design before I went on my hiatus. But then I went on hiatus. And it was one of them things I forgot about. And I was looking on eBay, I don't even know what for. And this came across my feed and I was like, I'm adding that to stash. I don't know when I'm going to stitch it, but it's basically a Hardinger type design. It's by Cross and Patch. It's called In the Garden. And look at this. Oh, it's so cool. Look at all that Hardinger. I love it. And there's some stitches. Let me see. Okay, let's get close. So there's some fanciness going on in here that I have not done before. Like all these little square motif type things. I have not dabbled with that quite yet, and I'd like to. And I've done enough with Hardinger, I feel like I can kind of wing it and it'll be all right. I actually might even be down with stitching this on a neutral. Look at me go. There's also a couple other designs. Yeah, let's see. Oh, I don't want to crease it too much. There's other designs in here too. Look at that. I would think that's basically like the middle part and they just did just that part, but I like it. So I got it, and the price wasn't too bad. I want to say this was like 20 bucks or something. I did see it for higher price, but that's one thing I don't get about eBay. You'll see multiple items on there, and there's something there, let's say buy it now for $24. And then there's another one that has a bidding war, and it's like up to 80 bucks. It's like, why don't one of you in this bidding war just zip on over to the $24 and buy that? Like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes people don't search on eBay, but Okay, I think, no. There is some more haul. One more. I'm glad my eyes fell on it because otherwise I might have forgotten about it. Okay, I joined a SAL. And before I get into that, because I have nothing to show you on this one, I also bought a box from Autumn Lane Stitchery. Autumn Lane Designs. Am I saying that right? I could be saying it wrong. They do the Dark Queen of the Sea and the Dark Queen of the Earth. They just had the retreat for the Queen City Stitch Retreat. They were just there. I'm hoping I'm saying their name right. If not, I'll put it in the comments below, and apologies if I didn't say it right. But they made a box, like a mermaid box, like a surprise thing. It's got like fabric, some threads, it's got a design and mermaid type thing. The box was pretty. Had like scales and stuff on it. You guys know, if you've been here before, you know I'm down with mermaids. I like the sea creatures. So I ended up buying one. And there was only so many of them, you know, so, and they sold out pretty quick. I actually, the box that I bought was for Aida fabric. Y'all know I'm not going to stitch on Aida. No offense to anybody that likes it. I just don't like it. It's not my favorite fabric. But with me knowing that I tend to like to use my own fabric, not use the recommended or whatever, I decided I don't care what fabric comes with mine. I'll get rid of it and then I'll stitch it on what I want. So I just ordered one with Aida because all the linen was sold out. So I have nothing to show you on that. I don't even remember when they're going to start shipping on it. I didn't pay attention. I think it's later. You know, it's kind of a pre-order kind of situation. So I ordered that. And then the SAL that I joined, I'm super excited. I joined on like day one. Some of you guys might have an idea what this is. It hasn't started yet as of today. It's October 26th. But Bella Filipina is doing a stitch along, and it's one of those where, you know, you don't know what the design looks like, but they gave us like a ghostly silhouette, and is the Blackwater Sirens. And from the look of the silhouette, it looks like there's 4 aquatic creatures. I saw some tentacles, so they might not all be mermaids, but I'm pretty sure at least 2 or 3 of them are mermaids, like gathered on a rock or something. And it's like got a dark vibe to it. Dark mermaids. Oh, yes. Yes. That's dirty talk for me. So I joined it ASAP because I love Bella Filipina. I know I'm probably going to love whatever it is. And they put out the fabric through Under the Sea Fabrics. And I opted, surprisingly, given what I just said about the previous box, I opted to order the recommended fabric because with this, I don't know what the design looks like. So I can't exactly go off on a limb. I did buy the DMC. Let me show that to you real quick. The colors I found intriguing. They're different. from what I usually see Bella Filipina. Usually the colors are pretty bright, bold with Bella Filipina, but with this dark water Sal, they're very vintagey, almost Teresa Wensler-y. You know, kind of dusty. Though the fabric, from looking at it, it's like a green and blue moody mix. And I just thought, looks cool. I'll go for it. And I got a couple. There's supposed to be like 3 skeins of DMC, and I just went with a couple spools of Anchor. But yeah, I'm intrigued. I don't have my specialty threads. I don't know if there's any silks. I don't think there are. I think there's 4 metallics, and then beads. Of course, there's a fair bit of beads, and my fabric. And that should be coming sometime this week, I think. The design, the first part, is going to be released on Halloween, October 31st. I don't imagine I'm going to be starting it right away. First off, I don't have my fabric yet. Second, I'm distracted by other things. So, don't make fun of my box. Look at this. I had to duct tape it because it was like cracking and splitting. So, I jury-rigged it to make it work. I don't like buying these things, so. There's things I like spending my money on with this hobby, and plastic boxes is not one of them. So when they break, I duct tape them. Okay, that is it for haul. Yes, I think. I'm probably forgetting something, but it's okay. Oh, yes, I've had a few Clay by Kims, but you'll see that when I get to my whip. All right, speaking of whips, do we want to do whips or do we want to do chatelaine sale stuff? Let's do whips, just to get them out of the way. Okay, so first whip. Let me pick up where we left off last time. Last time I had the Deadly Aquarium Sal, which I'm so behind on. That's concluded. I joined that a couple weeks after it started, I think, and I did not start stitching it until it was over because I like to start in the center. And it wasn't until I saw there was a shark in the design that I was like, hell yeah, let's do this. Actually, I think it was before the shark, but I was pretty sure there was going to be a shark in it. But here's where I landed at. I didn't stop till I hit shark. And I got a fair bit done on the shark. But yeah. So there's the lionfish, some jellyfishes, some corals, seagull. This is the ghostly outline of a stonefish. Oh, there's a cave in here, a tide pool here. Yeah. I've gone all over on this design. Very ADHD style stitching with this. And this is being washed out a fair bit. It's a juicier aqua color. It's looking very yellowy green. There's kind of a yellowy undertone to this fabric, but not to the extent that I'm seeing in the camera. And it's definitely not as pale as when I get close like this. So I'm trying to find, oh, that's about right. It's still a little green, but it's okay. It's better than what it was. This one's fun. I like it. But other things were calling me, and once I got the shark outlined, I was like, okay, I'm at peace now. We can move on to something else. So the next piece I picked up has been calling me since I dyed the fabric, and I kind of took a poll on my Instagram, what should I start next, and unanimously the vote was for Firefly Fairies by Lavender and Lace. And I'm sorry, I don't have pictures to show you of the full thing. Excuse me, hiccup. The full effect. It's a meager start, but I got distracted. Okay, so you can't see a lot because I stitched a lot of light colored things. Let me help you guys see. So there's a wand here, a wand here, and a wand here. I basically wanted to stitch those first because I wanted to make sure they landed on glowy parts. We just made it up here because this comes with a template. In the chart, there's a template, so I copied it and printed it out. It's not exactly accurate, as you can kind of maybe see there, because that wand is here and this wand is here. So, but it was close enough. We lived in a land of good enough. So, and then I started working on the red fairy. I don't know. I was just more interested in her, I guess. The only thing I'm sad about with her, hang on, is I have acknowledged that this very pretty part of the fabric is going to be covered up by her dress. So sad. Because I really like this part of the fabric, the way the colors came out. But that's what happens when you stitch on pretty overdyed fabrics. You stitch over pretty parts sometimes. But I am enjoying this design, even though there's barely anything done. Usually I like to get a little bit more done, and I kept, telling myself, just stitch a little bit longer, stitch a little bit longer. But kind of like Lakapati before her, if it was on the bars and I'm staring at it and I'm like, I want to stitch something else, I have to move it off because otherwise I'm not going to stitch. So, and I'd rather stitch, because there's so many things. Oh my God, so many things I need to get done, which, speaking of which, oh my God, I need to start thinking about end of year whip parade type stuff. Like, do I want to get a finish in? Because I could push a finish out. I have a couple designs, but I'm being possessed by chatelaines. So speaking of which, let's get to it. So this is the fabric that I got for Hawaiian Garden mandala. So that's what it's going to look like. And I am gagging for my fabric. Like, I have not talked too much about my plans for this design because I wasn't sure if I was ever going to find a fabric that met my expectations. And this is perfect. So basically, this is, oh gosh, the name of the fabric flew out of my head. Hang on, it's probably over here. Let me find it. There we go. Yes, Breaking Dawn by Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers. And this is a custom piece. Now, little backstory. I came up with the idea of using rainbow fabric for this piece probably 2-3 years ago or so. I was doing a, oh, look at that. Oh my God. Yes, my mouth is watering. But don't mind the plethora of Clay by Kims. They're my friends. And it's Halloween time, so I got a lot of my Halloween ones out. That and a lot of the Halloween ones are new. But anywho, back to the backstory. So, I was doing a fabric viewer, and I wasn't real sure what I was feeling for this design, like fabric color-wise. As you can see, the center is very blue. There's a lot of green. And then there's basically a rainbow of other colors. And I was thinking like maybe blue or green, but there's a lot of blue and green in the design, so it's going to blend in. And I basically just kind of started clicking at random on the fabric viewer. And sometimes that's really helpful because sometimes you will land on a fabric you wouldn't think of and find out it looks amazing. You have to take it with a grain of salt when it's a fabric viewer, of course. But when I landed on, it wasn't even Breaking Dawn. I think it's called Above the Clouds. It's basically this color pattern, but they paint clouds on it. And that's what I clicked on for the viewer. And oh my God, like the clouds parted and the angels sang. And I really like the idea of doing a rainbow for Hawaiian Garden because I think about rainbows a lot with Hawaii because you see them a lot of times in pictures from all, the waterfalls and the water spray. And it seems like there's a lot of rainbows in Hawaii. And the sunsets are rainbowy. Also, because of how this is situated, the blue of the middle is not sitting on any blue. So perfecto al mundo. And I wasn't sure when I first got it if I was going to do the rainbow this way or if I was going to do it this way. Ultimately, I decided I wanted the blue at the top because that was the original idea. I do know I am slightly not centered. It's only by 1 centimeter. It'll be fine. This is bigger than what I need it to be. I needed 33 inches, if I can recall correctly. And I said, but if you want to make it 34 or even 35, to be safe. Oh, back to Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers. So back when I discovered this and was like, oh my God, this would be perfect. Of course, I immediately messaged and asked because on the website, they only had this color way, which is a hand-painted fabric because they paint the ombre effect, basically. And I had messaged, can you do this in I didn't really want a full yard, but I at least needed one for, this design. Because I think, 33 inches, that's more than half a yard, or the longest side of half a yard. And because I think it's a half yard 35 by 27. So I'd be way off on one side. So I messaged, said, do you have full yards? At the time, she said that she did not because since they have to hand paint these types, she didn't have the space to paint the fabric that big. So I was like, oh crap, bummer. So I was looking around at some other companies and it just wasn't, I was like, I might just have to dye this myself. And I was kind of resigning myself to that fate. And I was because I wanted to start this design. I love myself a tropical chatelaine. So I was like, I might just have to dye it myself. But I thought, you know, just ask them one more time, you know, if they can do this fabric. And I think it was in July that I messaged her. And she said that after July, I think they were expanding for custom orders. So I was like, oh, hell yeah. Now, the way she explained it to me was that if you do a custom cut, like say for something as big as this, they still charge you for a full yard, but after they've cut and hand painted the piece that you need, the excess fabric, they will dye whatever color from a regular line, not like a hand painted. They'll dye that remaining piece and send it to you. Well, as it worked out for me, when she was making my piece, she happened to have a 35 by 35 piece. So she just charged me for that yardage, not a full, you know, so I got lucky. But I think that's really cool. So yeah, keep that in mind if that's a thing you're into. Oh my God, isn't it gorgeous? Oh. And you can't tell because the bottom here is rolled up a lot, but there's a lot of purple down there. And then the top's predominantly this bluish color, but I love what's going on over here on the left too. So pretty. Let's say hi to my clay by Kims for a second. Okay, so I have some new guys in here. Now, what's funny is this trio right here. That looks like a little family to me. Like, this one looks like that two's offspring. I got this one 3 years ago. This one 2 years ago. 1 year ago. This year. So it looks like they had a baby. Because they're like the same colors. I think that's cute. This is my witch dragon, my sorcerer dragon, and this one she called the bog witch. This one's new too. Super cute. Little bat. And I love the ombre. Not the ombre, the mosaic. That's the word I was looking for. For the bat, like, because you can see the pieces of like candy that are in this guy, and you can see the bubbles that are in these guys. So like you can kind of see like little hints of past designs in there, but it's in a little bat shape. Super cute. This was only 14 bucks too. Then here's my newest. Let me see if I can get a good look at him. He's got the cutest face, and look at his little hair. He's got a little Frankenstein hair, and he's got stitches in his wings. I think they called this one the Monster Mash one, but he's super cute. Then this is a Halloween candy design I've had for a while. This one I just thought looked pretty. This one I thought just looked pretty. So, but yeah. I come out of Clay by Kim retirement when it comes to Halloween designs, if I don't have them already. But, oh, I'm gagging for this. Oh, and I'm playing with my crystals. So this crystal here is the, gosh, it's not showing up very well. It's a Vitral Heart, and it is the recommended crystal. I'm playing around with the idea of switching that up. I might use it. I'm kind of leaning towards it. I like changing the center crystals because a lot of the center crystals in Chatelaines are like the same, and I like mine to be different, but I haven't used that, the heart shape, so it would still be different. And I don't know, maybe it can be like the Moana, like the heart of, what is it, Tafiki or something? But before I had this fabric, and because I'm looking at it on my fabric, I'm like, I'm digging that because it kind of like reflects back the rainbowy thing. But let me just real quick show you the pieces that I was considering for replacing it. This one I knew, like, this is really pretty, but it's also really big. So it's a big old Rivoli crystal, and it's got a basket setting, which makes it easy to stitch on. It would be lovely, but it would cover up a lot of my stitching. I haven't completely dismissed it yet. If it's that pretty, I will cover up stitching. But I do really like it. And it's got, I think this is a volcano, which is interesting because there's a lot of blue in this. So it's not what I would expect volcano to look like, but you can see there's kind of a play of other colors in this. This thing is huge too. I kind of love how huge and gaudy it is. But then knowing that this one was huge, I looked for other sizes. So here's a smaller one. This one is also volcano. Looks way different though. There's not as much blue. Volcano Swarovskis are usually like an orangey purple, which is what this is. So smaller. I don't like how it looks as much because that one, the blue is there. And then since I showed you guys these ones up close, let me show you the recommended up close. I don't know if it's going to show up very well, but oh, sorry, I always forget where the camera is. But yeah, it's like a little heart with a rainbowy thing, but there's a lot of green and blue in it, so it kind of matches the central green and blue. So I don't know about that. And then some other changes I'm making are some other crystals. These ones I knew, like, I'm probably gonna want to change these as soon as I saw the name of the color. I do not really like the color of these crystals. This is Montana Blue, and I don't like them because, let me show you. Let me string a couple of them up. The color is not very apparent. It's kind of a gray, black hint of blue. And just with the crystal hoard I have, I know there's funner colors out there than this, especially when like a lot of the center is a very juicy, yummy blue, and then we got this drab blue. I don't know. Maybe it'll work once I get all the stitches down and I'll be like, oh my God, Martina's a genius. Of course she knows what she's doing. Why do you keep switching up her crystals? She knows what she's doing. Sometimes I do like to trust the process, but I'm also extra when it comes to my crystals. So I bought a couple other crystals knowing I'd probably want to change it. And these ones were my first thought of, ooh, these would look prettier. Well, I just showed you guys the Vitrol heart there. Well, of course there's Vitrol cubes, which are, let me string up a couple more. Give you guys the full effect. So these are Vitrol cubes. Way cooler than the boring blue. Gray blue, depressing blue. These are so fun and sparkly. So I'm really leaning towards these guys. I think they'll probably be what I use. But in the vein of trust the process, Martina knows what she's doing, I ordered these as well. Because if I don't use them, they'll go into my stash, which is just as good because I love having a hefty, healthy crystal stash. Because I do love these cubes too for like other chatelaines if I want to switch things up a little bit. Maybe some of these cubes will work for those centers. I cannot remember the name of this color. It's either Montana Blue with a finish or it's heliotrope. I want to say it's heliotrope. But it's the same blue color, but it's more interesting. It's more dynamic. There's more stuff happening. I haven't stitched much on there. There's a lot of framework. That's solid stitching in the middle. Once I get all those stitches down, that'll tell the tail better. But I'm leaning towards the Vitrol, the ones I just showed you. These little rainbowy guys. Look at the cute little tray they come in too. These actually weren't priced too bad. I got them on Etsy. I just searched for a seller and she happened to have both these colors. I looked for other colors too because, you know, why not? But I want to say they were like a little bit over $1 a cube, which is pretty good. That's about what these cubes cost before Swarovski stopped selling to us peasants. Okay, so that is that for whips. So now let's get into chatelaine sale season. Oh my God, you guys, I have been training. Look at this. I have been plotting and scheming. These are all the things on my wish list, and there's more. These are the ones that are high up on the wish list. I wrote out the beads, specialty threads, and PIs as well, and the Glorianas. Glorianas are on the bottom because they take the longest to come. And then I put the prices on there. I am getting me some bead packs. There are 3 designs that are screaming the loudest for me to start, but with the Gloriana silks taking forever to come in, I have to count on probably not even be able to start them for like a year. I have an order pending from the last sale, which was in April, that I still have not received yet. I'm not expecting to receive it anytime soon. What was in that one? The Arabian Walled Garden. That's another one that's screaming at me, but I'm being patient. But I will get that one. I should look for the fabric for that one too. I am really excited to start that one. But there's 3 designs right now that are on the top of they're fighting for the top of the list right now with my plotting. And those designs are, let me show you the ones that I can. This one is Castle Moyland. It's also, the top and the bottom are cut off, but ducks and swans. I love those ducks and swans. The castle's cool, but the ducks and swans are what made me fall in love with this design. This one is not gigantic, but it's not small either. So chatelaines are deceptive to me. You'll see a picture one and you'll be like, oh, that's probably about the size of this. And it's bigger, way bigger. So I have a hard time gauging the size of chatelaines, but this one's not as big as, say, like Serengeti. Serengeti's huge. This is not as huge. I'm thinking this one's going to top the list. I'll probably get most of the supplies for that. And I'll explain what I'm looking at next. But let me show you. The next design is Constantinople Hammam. Hang on, this is sideways. There we go. I love the dark fabric. Also, this center is switchable. So there's a normal, like, mandala center. But then there's this, like, bathing lady fresco style thing. And I love that. Like, that was made me go, ooh. Like, I've seen pictures of it before with the regular, and it's pretty. You know, it is pretty. I think this is the large size piece that inspired the, what's the smaller design called? Small Hawaiian Garden, maybe? But it's basically like just this thing, and there's a couple other panels. There's a lot of people stitching that. It's a lot smaller. I have the beads for that, I think, but not the threads. So, but here's the big one. And once I saw like the picture in the middle, I was like, ooh, and I really like it on this dark fabric. I don't, if this is your picture, I'm sorry, I stole it and printed it off the internet because it's my inspiration. I think maybe I would use like a dark navy, maybe not full black. I don't know. I'd have to get the threads first, but I'm like dying for this design now, especially since I saw that middle painting. I would definitely do it with the painting because that's different. I like it. And then the third design, I don't have any pictures because I actually don't have the chart for that one yet either. Moroccan Town Mandala. So that one's really cool. It's also not gigantic. It's still a full-size mandala, but I do have the beads for it. So that's one less thing I have to order for that one. But, and there's a couple other small ones too. Like there's this little cardinal, like bird designs. They're on the smaller side, kind of like the beaded tiles. I think they're smaller than the beaded tiles, but maybe they're not. And then there's I found some new designs today. The mini Tudor designs. I was creeping around on Instagram and I came across one of them and I was like, oh my God. I say this every time. I think the chatelaine designs are breeding in the dark because no more designs are coming out, but I keep finding close-up pictures of someone stitching and being like, oh my God, I've never seen this. If I had seen this, I'd want to stitch it. I'm going to be stitching them till the day I die. Like, I'm going to be like freaking Wolverine doing it till I'm 90, hopefully. I might need to be Wolverine and live to be 200 to stitch all of these, I think. So, don't think that's going to happen. But, anywho, I'm going to try at least. So, here's my strategy. So, the thing is, in case you've never bought the kits from European Cross Stitch, maybe you're a first timer and you're dipping your toe in, I'm going to kind of go over the process a little bit. So the kits do not come instantaneously. They're not there ready to go. They have to order the supplies as they get them, and some of the supplies take longer than others. So right now Rainbow Gallery is a little backed up because they just bought Chronic Metallics, so they're delayed in sending their stuff out. But more delayed is the Gloriana threads. Apparently they were super delayed before the pandemic, but then they got super behind around the pandemic and just haven't caught back up yet. So what Cindy has done, lovely Cindy, she's a saint, I love her. She has split the full kits into tiny kits. So there's the bead kit, the specialty threads, which are like your metallics, your silks. Then NPIs are kind of separate too, because a lot of people like to sub DMC for NPIs. So there's a lot of NPIs. Those are off by themselves too. And then there's the Gloriana kits. So those only have Gloriana threads in it. So you can a la carte buy your kits. So say you want a full kit, depending on what's in your kit, because not all of them have all of these threads. To buy the full kit, you'd need the beads, the specialty threads, the NPIs, and the Glorianas if your design has all of those. So what I am plotting is I'm going to make several orders. At least 2, maybe 3. We'll see. But the first order I'm going to make is going to be beads. So, and I have like a budget because there's 3 designs I want, but it's not within the budget to buy all of them right now, especially when I'm not going to get them for a while. So if you order everything you need for your kit and it's got Glorianas in it, you're going to be waiting for a good long time, 6 months to a year, you know, ish. If you want to get things a little bit quicker, then you can order the beads, the specialty threads, get the stuff quicker. It is kind of silly for me because if I don't order the Glorianas, I want the Glorianas. I still can't start it, but it is nice to order things and get some stuff and not wait a whole year for it. So I'm going to order a bead order first. So what I'm going to get, I'm planning on getting the beads for the Irish mandala. I know that wasn't listed in here, but I've been meaning to get that kit for a while. It's 75 bucks. It's kind of a pricey bead kit, but that also makes me kind of excited because I love beads, and $75 means there's a lot of beads in there. That design is gorgeous. I'm not going to start it soon though because the threads and the Glorianas are really pricey. So those will be later sale purchases. Those are down here on the list for later. But I'm getting the beads because I've been meaning to get them and just haven't yet. I'm going to get the beads for the Constantinople Hammam, the Castle Moyland. I already have Moroccan Town, so I don't need to worry about that. I'm going to get the beads for the bird tapestry, which that's only $1.90 because it's a small design and doesn't have a lot of beads on it. And then the Mini Tudor 3 and the Mini Tudor 1. Those two have caught my eye. The bead kits are pretty cheap for them too, $10.90 and $14. So I have totaled up my beads and it's like $172.35 just for 6 bead packs. I'm a slut for beads, what can I say? And then I'm going to do I have decided that I'm going to make, just looking at like dollar signs and totals, I've decided I am going to order the Gloriana threads for my top 3 first, because first off, they're a little bit cheaper than the specialty threads, ironically. And if I order them now, maybe when the next sale comes around, I still won't have received them, but then I can order the specialty threads and maybe they'll arrive together. If I wait to order the Gloriana, I'm going to be waiting that much longer to get them. So my logic is order the threads that's going to take forever just to get your order in and get them sooner rather than later. And then the specialty threads don't have as long of a delay, so I can order those later and get them sooner-ish. That's my logic. So I have not decided which specialty threads I will get, only maybe a couple. And I might even put those in with my bead order, you know, because I don't need the beads right now either. So I haven't decided on that yet. And you get 10% off. That's what the sale is for. And it's automatically added to your cart. So you'll see the difference like once the item's in your cart for the 10% off. So, and it adds up, you know, especially when you're spending like $400 on a kit, you know, that's 40 bucks off. So it's worth it. That's like a bead pack by itself, you know, depending on which bead packs you get. So, but yeah, plotting and strategy, trying to meet my budget and, you know, get some stuff ordered. I will say the bead packs are pretty quick. So if you're looking to order and you want the bead packs quick, you can just order them. I have made orders for bead packs, gotten it before the sale's over, and then been like, I'm going back for more. I'm silly, what can I say? And I don't know, I might do that this time too, you know, because the sale takes place over 2 weeks, so you could stretch out the process a little bit, make a purchase on the first day, make a purchase on the last day. I might do that just to space things out a little bit, so. But yeah, I believe that is pretty much it. Life update wise, I'm still taking my microbiology class, just had midterms last week. That was kind of rough because I had to take a lot of tests and there was a lot of material that we were covering. So, but I survived. We're still going. I'm enjoying it still. Over halfway through at this point, so yay. School wise, I told you guys I'm going back to school. Things are still pretty hurry up and wait with the program. I've submitted my application. My references, letters of recommendation are, I don't know that they've all submitted it, but they're all working on it at least. The deadline is November 1st, so they better be on it. I spoke again with the administrator, and she said that usually there's an interview that has to happen, usually in November. And she said they usually let me know right away if I'm in the and she was kind of like, you're gonna get in. Like, I'm like, okay, cool. She's looked at my transcripts, so, you know, I assume she's not blowing smoke up my ass or anything. So fingers crossed, I'll be excited when I know, like, you're officially in the program, because then it's like I'm really doing it and not just something I'm talking about, thinking about doing. So again, it doesn't start till next May. She did suggest maybe me take another science class. I'm not sure if I'm doing that because she said I didn't have to. So I'm kind of like, well, I kind of would like to use whatever free time I got left to stitch some stuff. Also do my pole dancing and stuff. Also, like, I don't know, that's kind of expensive just to take one class. I am curious though, like, she gave me a list of classes that I could take, and one was like virology, and I'm like, ooh, that sounds interesting. Viruses are fascinating, I think, because they're not alive. Like, what the hell are you? I want more information. So, but, you know, it's expensive. I'd have to pay out of pocket for that class. So I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that. We'll see. And then, let's see. I've been still working on my house. I might get a new roof here. I'm just doing all the things with the house. So I might get a new roof. I got some damage from the hurricane that blew through here. We had some mighty winds. My power didn't go out, but in the area, like near my work, people who had lost power for like 6 days. Nothing like the devastation in North Carolina or even Florida, like nothing to that level. But yeah, it spanked us pretty good. You know, here in Ohio, we're not used to getting hit by hurricanes. We're used to tornadoes, you know, which the hurricane kind of was like a tornado. It's just like one that didn't stop for a while. So yeah, I got some roof damage, which I've been getting some roof damage from tornado. 3 tornadoes have grazed my house since 2020. Actually, that's how 2020 started for me. In January, a tornado hit my house at 11:30 at night in January. Not prime tornado season, but that's how 2020 started for me. So, but yeah, a lot of roof damage. So I might get a new one. Yay. Hopefully insurance is going to cover all of it, because if not, not so much yay. Cha-ching, you know, if you know what I'm saying. I kind of want to hurry up and put my Chatelaine order in now before it's like, you need to cough up all this money for your roof. I know I'm stupid that way, but I'm fickle. What can I say? I want my beads and my stitchy supplies. Okay, and then, yeah, still pole dancing. I actually have a photo shoot coming up soon. I'm doing another photo shoot. I know I haven't shared any of my pole dancing photos on, like, my Instagram or even on here, just because, yeah, I know some of you guys don't want to see that. It's not, like, racy or anything. If anything, it's more like aerial gymnastics kind of stuff, but, you know, I might share some on my Instagram if you guys, you know, are interested. You know, I did have some from my last photo shoot that came out pretty good, but this is... I'm looking forward to this photo shoot because there's a lot more cooler poses that I can do now than I could the last time, and I know a little bit more about how photo shoots work, so I feel a little bit better prepared. So, but yeah, I think that's it for tonight. So I'll try to film again in November, just depending on what I have done and what I have to share for you guys. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Again, I have an Instagram. It's the same, Sharky Stitcher. So if you want to follow me on there, I post things a little bit more regularly on there just because it's easier. So, but yeah, if you want to keep up with me on there, that'd be cool. But thanks you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!